Getting started in NAP Online Part 2. In Part 1, I explained how to set up dimensions and suppliers, how to record a payment and a deposit, as well as run financial reports for your region. In Part 2, I will discuss some of the common functions you will use for editing transactions and reconciling your bank accounts. Let's begin by entering a payment. From the Banking and General Ledger tab, select Payments. I will record a check that I wrote for my fall season to Crown Trophy in the amount of $150 with the NAP account code 5111 field expenses and the fall category as my dimension 1. Remember that the transaction memo section is a searchable field. Make sure to add any important information in this field. I will write End of Year Trophies. After I select Process Payment, the transaction is recorded in the NAP Online system. But I realize that I've just entered the wrong NAP account number. Oh no! How do I fix this? The first step is finding the incorrect transaction. From the Banking and General Ledger tab, under Inquiries and Reports, you will see the link to the Transaction Search Edit function. This is where I will search for my transaction. There are a few options to choose from in the search function. I can search by reference, which is helpful when searching for a check number. I wouldn't recommend this option when searching for deposits or invoices because the system generates the reference numbers for you. You can narrow your search by selecting the type of transaction it is, for example, bank deposit or bank payment. I can narrow down the search by selecting the date range I am looking for. The memo field is extracted from the transaction memo in each payment and deposit. You can type a few letters or numbers to bring up any transaction with that information in the memo. I will search for my transaction by entering in the keyword trophies in the memo search box and then selecting search. A list of transactions will appear. From this list, I will select the transaction by clicking on the pencil icon on the far right. This will bring up your transaction in the payment or deposit screen. Since I am changing the NAP account code, I will select the pencil icon for the line item with the incorrect code. Then I will fix the NAP code by selecting 5274 Awards and Volunteer Recognition. If I don't select the green check mark before selecting Process Payment, the system will generate a warning at the top in yellow as you see here. Always select the green check mark to confirm any changes and then process the payment. Remember, once you make changes, the system will void the original transaction and create the updated version of your transaction. To view the update, I will go to the Reconcile bank account page, which is located in the Banking and General Ledger tab. Both transactions are visible here. The original one has a 0 value, and the one I just corrected appears below it. Now let's do an example of a voided transaction. Use the Void a Transaction feature in cases where you want to delete the entire transaction, such as voiding a check or deleting an invoice. The first step is to search for the transaction you want to void. Using the Transaction Search function, I can again search by reference, type, date, and memo. Since I am voiding a check, I will put the check number in the reference field and select Search. Notice the transaction type and number for this check. I will need both of these in order to find my transaction in the Void a Transaction function. In this example, my type is bank payment and my transaction number is 10. From the Banking and General Ledger tab, select the function Void a Transaction. From the Type drop-down, select Bank Payment and enter the transaction number. The transaction I want to void is listed at the top of the list. I select the pencil icon to void the transaction. A warning will appear at the top stating, "Please confirm marked item to be voided." Select Void Transaction at the bottom. A second warning will appear. Verify this is the transaction you want to void. If so, select Proceed. The selected transaction has now been voided. Now that I have made my adjustments, I can go ahead and reconcile my monthly bank statement. From the Banking and General Ledger tab, select Reconcile Bank Account. First, I want to choose the correct bank account from the drop-down list. Next, I will enter or select the ending date on the bank statement I am working on. Double-check the beginning balance. If you have never reconciled, it will say 0. Otherwise, it will be the amount from the last reconciliation. I will enter the ending balance from my bank statement and start selecting the checkboxes on the right for all cleared deposits and payments for that month, including any transactions with a 0 value. When the difference up at the top is equal to 0, I am in balance. To complete and save my reconciliation, I will select the Reconcile button at the bottom. Don't forget to upload your monthly bank statement by selecting Attach a Bank Statement. Add a description such as August 2013 bank statement, and then browse your computer for the file. Select Add New to attach it to your bank reconciliation. You can view other bank reconciliations by selecting the date in the drop-down. This concludes Part 2 of Getting Started.